what are these things? Are they good or bad? And I think some of them are bad.
In a startling revelation, new evidence suggests that Nephilim giants might still be alive today. After centuries of legends and speculation, compelling proof is emerging. This discovery is monumental, given the ancient myths and biblical references to these giant beings. But what evidence supports their existence in the modern world? How have these giants remained hidden for so long? Join us as we explore this incredible story and uncover the secrets behind the enduring legend of the Nephilim Giants. One of the most captivating legends from the Solomon Islands is that of the Nephilim Giants. These tales have been passed down through generations, painting a realistic picture of enormous beings who inhabit the islands. According to folklore, these giants live in caves and use underground tunnels to move between the islands. Descriptions of these giants vary, but they are often said to be around 10 feet tall, with some accounts claiming they can be even larger. They are depicted with long hair, which can be black, brown, or reddish. Their eyes are often described as red, with flat faces and large mouths. Despite their monstrous appearance, some locals believe these giants are intelligent beings with their own societies and social structures. The local beliefs about these giants are divided. Some see them as protectors of the land, ancient beings who have always been there watching over the islands. Others view them as dangerous predators. There are numerous stories about the giants hunting, killing, and even eating people. These tales have created a mix of fear and respect among the islanders. One particularly harrowing story involves a woman named Mango, who was allegedly kidnapped by the giants when she was young. She spent over 25 years with them, during which her family assumed she was dead. When she was finally found, she was in a hysterical state, foaming at the mouth and, astonishingly, pregnant. It was believed that she had been taken as a wife by one of the giants. The child, a mutation of a half-giant boy, lived only to the age of 5 before being killed by the locals, fearing the history would repeat itself. For a long time, these stories were considered mere folklore, with little to no evidence to support them. However, recent research and eyewitness accounts have brought new attention to these legends. Some explorers and researchers have claimed to have seen these giants or found physical evidence that supports the stories. These accounts have sparked renewed interest and curiosity about the existence of the Nephilim giants in the Solomon Islands. However, why are these tales becoming more well-known now? What has changed to encourage people to consider the possibility that these old tales are true? Could these stories contain something else than myth and superstition? We will learn more about these mysterious giants and their potential presence in the contemporary world as we examine the history and available data in greater detail. In 1568, the Solomon Islands were discovered by Spanish explorer Alvaro de Mendana. This discovery marked the beginning of a fascinating historical connection that links the islands to the ancient legends of Nephilim giants. Mendana, convinced that he had found the source of King Solomon's legendary gold, named the islands in honor of the biblical king. But how does this connect to the giants? According to the legends, King Solomon sent his ships all over the world in search of valuable goods, including gold. The wealth of King Solomon, well documented in the Bible and other historical texts, became the focal point for many explorers. The Spanish, particularly during the Age of Exploration, were keenly interested in these stories and used biblical texts as maps to guide their journeys. Mendana's discovery of the Solomon Islands was driven by the belief that these islands were the source of Solomon's gold. His expeditions were based on ancient texts that described the trade routes and treasures of the biblical king. Despite Mendana's claims, his discovery of gold in the Solomon Islands was never proven during his lifetime. However, modern-day excavations have unearthed significant gold deposits on these islands, lending some credibility to his original assertions. But why is this connection important? What does gold have to do with Nephilim giants? As it turns out, the legends of the giants are deeply intertwined with the history of the islands. The same texts that guided explorers to the islands also spoke of the giants that inhabited them. These giants, according to local folklore, were not just mythical beings, but real creatures that lived in the caves and mountains of the islands. The focus of the legends began to shift from gold to giants as more stories and evidence came to light. Explorers and researchers who followed in Mendana's footsteps started to hear tales of enormous beings from the local inhabitants. These stories, initially dismissed as mere folklore, began to gain attention as physical evidence started to surface. Recent excavations and explorations have uncovered artifacts and remains that suggest the presence of extraordinarily large humans. These findings have reignited interest in the legends and have led many to question the true history of the Solomon Islands. Could the Nephilim giants mentioned in biblical texts and local legends have been real? And if so, how have they remained hidden for so long? As we continue to explore these historical connections, it becomes clear that the legends of golden giants are not mutually exclusive. They are part of a larger narrative that intertwines history, myth, and the possibility of undiscovered truths. This shift in focus from the pursuit of gold to the search for giants opens up new avenues of inquiry and raises intriguing questions about the past and its impact on the present. We'll then take a closer look at the contemporary studies and eyewitness reports that lend credence to the existence of these giants. What discoveries have scientists made, and what are the opinions of the locals on their experiences with these mysterious entities? Follow along as we learn more about the Nephilim giants and their lasting impact. Eyewitness accounts and modern research provide some of the most compelling evidence for the existence of Nephilim giants in the Solomon Islands. Local testimonies and detailed findings from researchers paint a fascinating picture of these legendary beings. Marius Boirayon, an Australian aircraft engineer and helicopter pilot, has spent years living and working in the Solomon Islands. His experiences and findings have significantly contributed to the credibility of these giant legends. Boirayon married a local woman and became deeply integrated into the culture, gaining the trust of the islanders. Over time, he began hearing consistent stories about giants living in the mountains and caves. Boirayon documented numerous eyewitness accounts from locals who claimed to have seen these giants. Descriptions often match those from folklore, towering figures around 10 feet tall with long hair and red eyes. Some villagers recounted harrowing encounters where the giants were seen hunting or abducting people. These stories, while terrifying, have remained consistent across different regions of the islands. Apart from first-hand accounts, Boirayon and other researchers have gathered physical evidence supporting the existence of giants. Oversized human remains have been found in various locations on the islands. These remains include large skulls and bones that far exceed the size of an average human. Tools and artifacts, such as enormous axes and hammers, have also been discovered, further suggesting the presence of a race of giants. One particular finding that stands out is a massive footprint, approximately 3 times the size of a normal human foot, embedded in solid rock. This footprint, along with other physical evidence, provides tangible proof that challenges the notion of giants being mere myth. But what makes these stories and findings even more intriguing is their consistency with reports from other parts of the world. Similar descriptions of giants, along with oversized artifacts, have been reported in places like Nevada and Peru. These connections raise the question, could these giants be remnants of the Nephilim mentioned in ancient texts? Investigating the material further reveals that the accounts from the Solomon Islands are not singular occurrences. They are a part of a larger pattern that is prevalent among continents and cultures. The Nephilim giants may still be alive today, according to the physical evidence and reliable eyewitness reports. But why have these giants remained hidden for so long? What other secrets do they hold? In the next section, we will explore global legends of giants and how they connect to the Nephilim, further uncovering the mystery of these ancient beings. Stay tuned as we continue to unravel the mysteries of the Nephilim giants. The legends of giants are not unique to the Solomon Islands. Across the globe, various cultures have their own tales of enormous beings that share striking similarities. These stories span continents and centuries, suggesting a possible connection or common origin. One notable example comes from Nevada, where the Paiute Indians have a rich history of giant myths. According to Paiute legends, the Seetica were red-haired giants who inhabited the area long before the Native Americans. These giants were described as towering figures, sometimes reaching up to 12 feet in height. The Seetica were known for their cannibalistic behavior, similar to the giants of the Solomon Islands. The Paiute story tells of a great battle in which the tribes united to drive the giants into Lovelock Cave, where they were eventually killed. In the early 20th century, excavations in Lovelock Cave unearthed large skeletal remains and oversized tools, supporting the Paiute legends. Archaeologists found 15-inch sandals and massive handprints, sparking interest in further investigation into the existence of these giants. Similar tales can be found in South America. The Inca civilization spoke of a race of giants who once lived in Peru. These giants were described as incredibly tall, with some accounts stating they were as much as 10 feet tall. The Inca believed these beings had supernatural strength and often engaged in cannibalism. In the Gold Museum of Lima, there are displays of giant skulls and skeletons, which many believe belong to these ancient giants. In Europe, the legends of giants are also prevalent. The Irish mythology speaks of the Fomorians, a race of giants with supernatural powers. These beings were said to have red or blonde hair and were known for their ferocity and strength. The Fomorians were often depicted as adversaries of the Tuatha De Danann, another mythical race. Large skeletal remains and oversized weapons have been found in Ireland, adding credibility to these ancient myths. But what connects these diverse legends? The similarities in descriptions are too striking to ignore. Giants across these cultures are often depicted with red hair, incredible height, and a tendency towards cannibalism. This consistency raises the question, could these stories be more than just myths? Modern researchers have discovered numerous large skeletal remains and oversized tools around the world. In Iran, giant axes and swords have been unearthed, while in North America, large bones have been found in places like Arizona, California, and Ohio. These discoveries challenge the conventional understanding of human history and suggest that there may have been a time when giants roamed the earth. As we explore these global legends, it's important to consider their possible origins. Could these giants be the same beings referred to in ancient texts? The similarities between the legends of different cultures point towards a shared history, one that includes the existence of giants. The biblical allusions to giants, especially the Nephilim, will be discussed next. In what ways do the myths and proof that we have covered fit with these old texts? Is it possible that the giants described in folklore and archaeological finds are the same as the Nephilim mentioned in Scripture? Watch this space as we continue to solve the riddle of the Nephilim giants by discovering the similarities between biblical stories and stories from history. The Bible contains several references to giants, the most notable being the Nephilim. Mentioned in Genesis 6:4, the Nephilim are described as the offspring of the sons of God and the daughters of men. These beings were said to be mighty and of great renown. But who exactly were these Nephilim and what is their significance? Genesis 6:4 states, "The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown." This brief yet intriguing mention has led to countless interpretations and debates among scholars and theologians. Were the Nephilim simply a myth, or were they based on real beings that once walked the earth? One of the most famous giants in the Bible is Goliath, who is detailed in the story of David and Goliath. Goliath, a Philistine warrior from Gath, stood approximately 9 feet and 9 inches tall. He was heavily armored with a bronze helmet, a coat of scale armor weighing around 125 pounds, and a spear with an iron point weighing 15 pounds. Goliath's formidable presence and strength made him a fearsome opponent. According to 1 Samuel 17, Goliath challenged the Israelites for 40 days until young David, armed only with a sling and a stone, defeated him. But Goliath wasn't the only giant mentioned in the Bible. He had brothers who were also described as giants. In 2 Samuel 21:15-22, it is recorded that 4 other giants, all from Gath, were killed by David and his men. These passages suggest that Goliath and his family were part of a larger group of giants that lived during that time. Another significant reference to giants is found in Numbers 13:33, where the Israelites, upon scouting the land of Canaan, report seeing Nephilim. They describe themselves as grasshoppers in comparison to these giants, highlighting the immense size and strength of these beings. This account reinforces the idea that the Nephilim were not isolated to one story, but were known across different regions and eras. The presence of giants in the Bible holds significant historical and religious implications. For many, these references validate the existence of giants and support the legends found in other cultures. The Bible, regarded by many as a historical document, provides a context that aligns with the stories and physical evidence discovered worldwide. But why do these references matter? What can they tell us about our history and the world we live in? The biblical accounts of giants suggest that these beings played a notable role in ancient times. They were often depicted as adversaries of the chosen people, symbolizing the immense challenges and obstacles that needed to be overcome. These references also raise intriguing questions about the origins and nature of giants. Were they the result of supernatural beings interacting with humans, as suggested in Genesis? Or were they simply a race of extraordinarily large and powerful humans? The Bible's accounts provide a framework for exploring these possibilities and connecting them to the legends and discoveries we've discussed. During World War II, the Battle of Guadalcanal in the Solomon Islands became a crucial conflict between Allied forces and the Japanese Empire. However, amidst the chaos of war, there were alleged encounters with something far more extraordinary giants. Both Japanese and American soldiers reported sightings of enormous beings, standing between 10 to 15 feet tall, roaming the dense jungles. These sightings were along with one-off occurrences. Soldiers described seeing giant figures during nighttime patrols and even engaging in skirmishes with them. The Japanese, in particular, were said to have lost more than half of a squad to these mysterious beings, with some soldiers reportedly carried away by the giants. These encounters left an indelible mark on the troops, many of whom spoke of the difficulty in sleeping, haunted by the echoes of their comrades' screams. But can these wartime tales be trusted? Skepticism abounds, with many suggesting more plausible explanations. One potential explanation is gigantism, a rare condition causing excessive growth due to an overproduction of growth hormone. Historical records show that gigantism has been around for centuries, leading some to speculate that these giants were actually individuals suffering from this condition. Another theory is that the soldiers might have encountered exceptionally tall indigenous people. The Solomon Islands have a rich and diverse population, and it's possible that soldiers mistook tall islanders for giants in the heat of battle. Fear and the stress of combat can easily distort perceptions, making soldiers more likely to believe they were facing supernatural beings. Despite these rational explanations, modern sightings continue to fuel the belief in giants. In recent years, locals and explorers in the Solomon Islands have reported encounters with large humanoid figures. Some describe seeing them at a distance, moving swiftly through the trees, while others recount more direct encounters. One of the most intriguing modern reports comes from Marius Boirayon, who spent years researching and living among the islanders. Boirayon collected numerous testimonies from locals who claimed to have seen giants or found evidence of their existence. These accounts, combined with his own experiences, have significantly contributed to the ongoing interest in the legend of Nephilim Giants. There have been discoveries of oversized human remains and tools which further support these claims. Archaeologists have found large bones and artifacts in the Solomon Islands and other parts of the world that suggest a race of giants once existed. These findings continue to challenge conventional understanding and keep the legend of giants alive. What are our thoughts about these military contacts and contemporary sightings then? Are they evidence of the existence of the Nephilim Giants, or are they just the product of exaggerated stories and misidentifications? It becomes evident that there is no simple solution as we continue to explore this riddle. Eyewitness stories, tangible facts, and historical allusions combine to make a strong argument that is difficult to refute. The search for the truth about Nephilim giants extends beyond legends and eyewitness accounts. Scientific and archaeological evidence plays a crucial role in validating or debunking these extraordinary claims. Let's dive into what researchers have discovered and how it contributes to the ongoing mystery. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence comes from oversized human remains and artifacts discovered around the world. In the Solomon Islands, large skeletal remains have been unearthed, some of which are significantly larger than those of average humans. These discoveries include oversized skulls and bones that suggest the existence of a race of giants. Similar findings have been reported in other locations, such as North America and Europe, where large bones and tools have been excavated. But what could explain these enormous human remains? One scientific explanation is gigantism, a rare condition caused by an overproduction of growth hormone. Individuals with gigantism can grow to extraordinary heights, much like the giants described in various legends. Historical figures like Robert Wadlow, who stood at 8 feet 11 inches, exemplify how gigantism can result in seemingly supernatural size. Could it be that some of the giants from these legends were simply individuals with this condition? While gigantism offers a plausible explanation for some cases, it doesn't account for all the evidence. Many of the oversized artifacts discovered alongside the remains, such as enormous weapons and tools, suggest the presence of a community or race of giants rather than isolated individuals. For instance, in North Wales, a 64-pound sledgehammer dating back 3,500 years was found, indicating that whoever wielded it had immense strength and size. Archaeological findings from various parts of the world support the existence of giants. In the Lovelock Cave in Nevada, researchers found 15-inch sandals and large skeletal remains that align with the Paiute legends of the Siteka. In Iran, giant axes and swords have been uncovered, further adding to the body of evidence. These discoveries suggest that stories of giants are isolated myths, but may have a basis in reality. Despite these intriguing findings, the scientific community remains skeptical. Many researchers argue that the evidence is not conclusive and that there are more plausible explanations for the oversized remains and artifacts. Some suggest that the bones could belong to large animals or be the result of natural anomaly. Others point out that many so-called giant discoveries have been debunked as hoaxes or misidentifications. Skeptics also highlight the lack of consistent scientific methodology in many of these discoveries. Proper excavation techniques, peer-reviewed studies, and rigorous verification processes are often missing, leading to doubts about the validity of the findings. The Cardiff Giant, for example, was a famous archaeological hoax in the 19th century, where a large statue was buried and later discovered as a petrified giant. So where does this leave us? The combination of oversized human remains, giant artifacts, and genetic conditions like gigantism creates a complex picture. While scientific skepticism is healthy and necessary, the persistent discoveries and consistent legends across different cultures cannot be easily dismissed. The existence of the Nephilim Giants is still up for debate, as the evidence is carefully reviewed. Are these giants only the result of myth and misconception, or are they remains of a long-lost ancient race? We'll explore the popular theories and cultural influence that sustain these legends in the following section. What excites us about these enormous creatures, and what do these tales have to say about the past of humanity? Let's consider the intriguing riddle of the Nephilim Giants in more detail. The legends of giants have deeply influenced local cultures and traditions around the world. From the Solomon Islands to the deserts of Nevada, these stories are woven into the fabric of society, shaping beliefs and customs. But why do these legends persist? What keeps the tales of giants alive in the modern world? In many cultures, giants are seen as protectors or powerful beings that once roamed the earth. The Solomon Islanders, for instance, have stories of giants guarding sacred sites and ancient treasures. These tales have been passed down through generations, becoming an integral part of their cultural heritage. Similarly, the Paiute Indians of Nevada have legends of the red-haired giants, the Siteka, which continue to be told and retold, preserving their historical significance. One popular theory for the persistence of giant legends is extraterrestrial influence. Some researchers suggest that ancient humans may have had contact with advanced alien civilizations. These extraterrestrial beings, with their superior technology and knowledge, might have been perceived as giants. Proponents of this theory point to ancient structures, like the pyramids and Stonehenge, as evidence of alien intervention, arguing that such monumental feats could not have been achieved by humans alone. Another intriguing theory is the existence of lost advanced civilizations. According to this idea, giants were part of a highly advanced society that existed long before recorded history. These civilizations, possibly wiped out by natural disasters or other cataclysms, left behind remnants in the form of oversized tools, artifacts, and skeletal remains. The legends of giants, therefore, are echoes of a forgotten era when these beings ruled the earth. Despite the allure of these theories, there is a notable lack of concrete evidence to support the existence of giants. Skeptics argue that the oversized bones and artifacts often cited as proof can be explained by more mundane factors, such as natural geological formations or misidentified animal remains. Furthermore, many supposed giant discoveries have turned out to be hoaxes, casting doubt on the credibility of these claims. The role of folklore in shaping beliefs cannot be overstated. Myths and legends have always been a way for cultures to explain the unknown and make sense of their world. The stories of giants, with their elements of wonder and fear, captivate the imagination and provide a sense of continuity with the past. They serve as cautionary tales, moral lessons, or simply entertainment, keeping the legends alive even in the absence of tangible proof. So where does this leave us in the search for Nephilim giants? The evidence is a mix of intriguing finds and speculative theories, balanced by a healthy dose of skepticism. While there is no definitive proof that giants once roamed the earth, the consistency of these legends across different cultures suggests that there may be some truth behind the myths. As we weigh the evidence, it's clear that the question of Nephilim giants' existence remains open. Could these giants be remnants of an ancient race, or are they simply the result of myth and misinterpretation? The legends, physical evidence, and scientific scrutiny create a complex narrative that continues to fascinate and perplex.